Hello, hello, my Freeform Renegades. You are tuned into the Freeform Network. Thank you for joining us for another fun episode of Freeform Radio. I am one of your many hosts. My name is Noel, and my co-hosts today are Daniel
Yes, sir.
and Andy.
Sick of the quarantine. Andy's here with opinions, but ready. Nonetheless, I'm here.
Yep. It's another day here in Chicago. Gloomy today, but hey, we're trying our best to get through this tough time right now, so can't complain too much when everybody else is out there braving the front lines during this COVID situation. So, just really quick on what's going on my end. I'm actually taking some time to work and some time to stay at home. So it's kind of a uh, per week situation. This week I'm at home right now, so it's been nice and chill. Haven't really done too much lately. Just kind of, I guess, lounging around. It's really trying to make a list of what I could do around the house and organize myself. And so I have a nice little list here ready to go. A lot of spring cleaning ahead of me, but anyway, what about you guys? What have you guys been up to?
So with the spring cleaning, Noel, real quick, I went through that a couple weeks ago, and you put some stuff together. Then you're like, out here, they're like, we won't take anything that's not in the bin. I mean, is it the same there? Because there was like, I'm gonna throw out all this shit, and then we like literally, I got like a notice, and one of the community groups that I'm on Facebook, and they're like, they're not taking anything that doesn't fit in the bin.
There are some restrictions, especially for electronics, but we do have it's called Public Works, which they do accept certain electronics. But I think you have to get a couple of passes from the city to recycle those. And sometimes it might cost you a little bit of money, sometimes not. So it really depends on the situation, what you're throwing out.
Well, that's what I'm saying, like oversized stuff that doesn't fit in the bin, or you didn't have anything that was oversized.
No, I haven't I honestly gotten to all the thrown away yet. I'm actually starting to collect like some stuff that I found in the basement. Unfortunately, some of the stuff didn't make it, man. Some of my old video games didn't survive being in the basement for this long. So right now it's flooding season, and it's actually really rainy outside past couple days. So I've been going through the basement to see what's around and everything, and I'm still looking for my PS2, dude. I'm still looking for it, and I'm just hoping it's not destroyed somewhere in this whole house. We'll see.
Yeah, no, by us, I haven't seen any kind of restrictions. I've been taking out my yard waste because I cut the grass this week and collected some of the brush and bushes and whatnot. And I took it out to the curb, not really knowing if they were going to pick it up. But yeah, they've been picking up everything. But no, I haven't thrown anything outside of the bin or anything big, oversized, any kind of old desk, any kind of old stuff. I haven't taken anything out there, so not sure if they're doing that or not. But yeah,
I mean,
I thought about that spring cleaning, but I don't know, man. All this stuff, there's times that I got energy and I feel like, okay, like, yeah, like you're saying, oh, let me make it a productive day since I'm inside and do things. And then there's times where I'm just like, man, all this repeated news over and over and over again, it kind of wears you out, and you kind of get just bummed out and just veg out in front of the TV watching something other than COVID news.
yeah, I mean, you try to normalize it as much as you can, but it's harder when you're work. For me personally, when I'm working remotely, and so I try to like wake up at the normal time I would, and walk over. We have an office at my house, and I took it over. I have like a setup, and then so I gotta punch in, check in, and then at a certain time, and then I'm just like, all right, like go walk over, grab my coffee, and then like in the morning, do my routine, like shower, get dressed. Like I don't just want to walk over with right out of bed, just brush my teeth and just like sit down. Like to me, it's like this is not fucking normal. This is not right to me. It's like pure laziness, and that's like my whole dilemma when I wake up. Should I shower? Should I just get ready, or should I just fucking pop open my laptop, grab some coffee and just dive into my emails. And like, I feel when I shower, it feels somewhat like a normal day, like I'm actually prepared for work, you know. But other than that, yeah, it's that's like my first challenge of the day in the morning, you know.
Yeah, I know a lot of people have different routines. Some people shower the night before, some people shower the morning of. And apparently you're one of those that shower in the morning of and it gives you energy. So I could
Yeah,
see how that'll help you, get your day started.
Right. To me, Alana does somewhat the same. She when she gets up, she actually gets dressed out of her pajamas and
hmm
opens up her laptop and starts working. I don't, man. I stay in my pajamas the whole day. I haven't put on pants in like 2 weeks, man. I just been in my joggers or my pajamas and just co chilling. I haven't put on shoes in a long time. I just have slippers on. So I've been in chill mode, and Alana brought that up to me too about, yeah, don't you want to like get dressed, any one of these days and kind of feel a little normal. Sometimes she'll put on makeup even though she's not going out just to kind of glam herself up. And I'm like, I don't really feel like all that. To me, if I'm gonna be chilling at the house doing work, I want to be as comfortable as I can be, and I don't want to have on gear that's not comfortable.
Yeah, that was my challenge. Like early on, I would just be in my pajamas and I was just like working, and it just didn't feel right to me until I found that routine of waking up, showering. I'm not saying I'm in jeans. I'm like, might be in some like jogging pants or some shorts, but I'm like, I'm gonna be comfortable because I don't have Zoom meetings. I have a bunch of conference calls. I have one daily, and a couple days I have like 2 to 3. But I mean, we're not doing Zoom meetings or anything like that. Thank God, because then it'll be a little bit more of a challenge. But like with no barber shops or haircut places open, like my fucking hair is out of control, and I just put on a hat or a bandana. The best part maybe is like I'm going old school like Danny. I work with a bandana on sometimes, and I'm just like nobody can see me. Like, what would they think back at the office?
Yeah. Are you still shaving or have
Nah,
you let
man,
it go?
that's another thing, dude. Yeah, like I shaved everything off like 2.5 weeks ago because it was out of control. And I was just like, I just shaved. And I'm like, man, I could get a haircut, but I couldn't. So, and then I haven't shaved since, and it's like, yeah, I'm like, it's just a lot of. I gotta shave. I got a beard, and I'm just like, I don't like it, but so I'm like, I don't gotta go nowhere. I'm not having meetings or with vendors or anything like that. So I'm just like, we'll see. And that's like the only thing. And like, I go to the office maybe once a week. The last couple weeks, I go at least once a week, and even when you go, it's kind of weird. The plant it doesn't have a lot of people there. They split up the shifts. They staggered the shifts, and it's not even like normal there. Everybody's like far apart. Some people have masks, some don't, gloves, but after May you have to wear a mask. So it's definitely a different feeling, but working home, it has its plus or minuses, but I think I'd rather be in the office than here at home. I wouldn't mind it doing it once in a while when shit gets back to normal. But right now, like this whole month and a half, it definitely has been challenging.
Right. What about you, Noel? You say you go into the office some weeks and then you'll have a week off or so. Are you still shaving and doing your regular routine?
I worked last week and the weekend before that, yeah, I did. I didn't shave, but I did trim my
Okay.
beard and I grew myself, line it up and everything. And then I always shave my head. So, that's probably one of the good benefits of being bald. It's like you don't have to worry about this whole hair cutting business. But yeah, no, I still, keep up with my normal stuff, which actually reminds me, I gotta shave my head probably tomorrow. Um, for the next time I go in. And at work we're also following the same guidelines. We wear masks whenever we're not at our desks. I don't see anybody wearing gloves. To be honest, the whole glove situation bothers me because I've heard a lot of people say it's actually counterintuitive because, well, not everybody's gonna wear gloves. So the one person that is spreading the germs everywhere, and the one person that isn't is picking up all those germs everywhere. So, it's kind of a shitty situation with that. But after that, we all have the masks on, so everybody's doing good so far.
Does your work provide you with masks, Noel, or do you have to bring your own?
They do supply you with masks that they've made, custom made ones, and they look pretty nice. But I myself have a few that I bring from home. So,
All right, cool. Yeah, I haven't gone into the office in, oh man, it's been over a month since I've gone back into the office. But actually, I got to go back tomorrow. I got a meeting I got to go to for tomorrow, so it'll be my first experience as far as seeing the plant, seeing the engineering department, seeing how all the engineers are, whether everybody's kind of far away. Is anybody going to even be there? Is it going to be like a skeleton crew kind of thing? So it's going to be my first experience in being back in the plant. And I did hear that they are offering masks to the employees. So
yes.
I'm hoping to be able to walk in and pick up a mask and,
You gotta go kiss the ring. That's all I'm gonna say.
of course. And then have some kind of have some kind of security, so otherwise I'm just gonna put on my bandana and just
That's what I was doing early on when I was going there. Yeah, I got my mechanics gloves on, and I got like this red bandana and a baseball cap. And I got shit from one of the engineers that, well, what do you think you're on the fucking street? You some gangster? Like, man, I've always been gangster. I don't know what the fuck you talking about. But now I got a reason I could be wearing this shit up in here. And then the owner saw me and he was like, hey, Andy, like, yeah, what's going on, man? And I think he was kind of scared. And I'm like, all right, let me at least take my hat off and lower my bandana and down to my neck. And I think he got, after a couple of times seeing like they kind of relaxed. But I know initially I think he was startled to see the thug in me, because I had like a long sleeve shirt and shit like that. And I know one of the engineers is like, whoa, like, what the fuck? You trying to rob somebody? Like, nah, man, this is how I fucking would do it. And when the shit hits the fan, ain't nobody gonna see me. They ain't gonna get no fingerprints on me. He's like, that doesn't help. Like, I don't give a fuck. Nobody's gonna watch. When I break into the liquor store, nobody's gonna know who I am.
Right. Yeah, are other people wearing hats? That was something else Alana mentioned to me. She's just like, yeah, since you're going into work, when you get home, I'll have a change of clothes ready so you could jump into the shower and like detox or whatever. And she's just like, yeah, just wear a hat so the shit doesn't get in your hair. And I'm like, what? Wear a hat? And I'm like, damn. I'm like, I didn't even think about that.
I just wear a hat because I just want to wear a hat. I never really wore a hat to the office, but I mean, do what you got to do. I get it, but the longer this thing goes on, and the more you see what's going on with the numbers. I know the gloves and the bandana. It's more for, I think it makes people more comfortable around you, but you're not. There's so much contradicting info out there right now. I mean, I don't even know what to fucking believe. I wash my gloves once a week, and when I take them off, when I get to the house, I leave them in the garage, and then I wash my hands. And like I said, there's so much shit. Like, you might as well just be walking around with nothing. And there's so much information. I don't even know what to fucking believe. Like, I understood from the mask that the reason they tell you to, at first they were saying you don't need a mask, then they're saying you do. It's basically so you don't spit on anybody. The droplets, as Fucci calls them, don't hit nobody. And but I don't even know if you could breathe the virus in or not anymore. I mean, they were saying you couldn't, then they're saying you can, and now they're saying they don't know, or they might. I don't fucking know. I just know wearing a mask makes everybody feel better.
No, there is particles in the air that you can breathe in, but I think you're right. The last I understood was it's to prevent droplets from when you say S's and T's,
yeah.
and you spit out those words that have S's and T's in it, and you kind of give a little spit comes out of your mouth while you don't realize it.
Why those letters, the S's and T's, then that's where it has the more oomph in it, or what?
Those are the ones that I'm aware of, but there might be others. But I know that typically, or peas as well, is another one where spit kind of flies out. But what have you heard about it, Noel?
Well, I actually saw a post recently about the mask situation, and supposedly, let's say one person wears a mask, and they have the virus, right? They're a lot less likely to spread it on to somebody else that doesn't have a mask with them having it on, right? So if the other person also has a mask on, even less likely. So that's the whole reason behind the mask is if everybody's wearing it, there's a less likely chance that any of us is going to get it, or
Right.
whoever does have it is going to spread it.
What about if I wear a mask and I'm fucking and I pull out? Is that gonna protect me from anything?
Nah.
No, I don't
If,
think so.
Does the virus transmit sexually or no?
Yeah, through any kind of fluid.
Damn.
Yeah.
What about wearing a condom then?
If you wear a condom, it's less likely. But even with the condom, you can still get STDs, and things transmit.
I don't worry about STDs. I'm just worried about the virus.
Well, I mean, that's considered, well, an STD is a sexually transmitted disease, so I guess the virus would be a sexually transmitted disease because you would be able to pass it. So,
even if I have a mask on, top and bottom.
well, and like Noel said, the more people that are wearing masks, the less likely that you're going to get infected. But there is still a percentage.
I like those
sure.
odds.
But yeah, I heard the glove thing. I saw some nurse put a video up, kind of showing with like finger painting, and she would, her gloves. She'd put it on like a plate, and then she would put gloves on, and then she would act like she's grabbing something at the store, and then she would get some of the supposed virus on her hand, and then she would just show regular stuff that you would do, like, oh, my phone's ringing, let me get it, and she gets her phone, and now her phone's covered with this ink, and then she's just like, oh, somebody can't hear me, I gotta pull down my mask, and now she touched like her face and her nose, and so it just shows you all the things that you commonly do, and how quickly things that you touch, even though you got gloves, you actually spread more just because you have more of an ease of mind that you're being protected. And well, actuality, you're spreading whatever it is that you're touching in your hands all over the place because you're touching everything with your gloves on.
Yep. No,
I'm sorry, go ahead, Noel.
no, that's what I heard as well. So that's the reason I never wanted to wear gloves is like I just know you're just spreading the germs everywhere. And if you really can't, you're not going to wash your gloves the same way and the same frequency you're going to wash your hands. So you're better off just not wearing gloves and washing your hands more frequently.
Right. I think unless you have like an open sore in your hand, you got a cut or something along them lines. Yeah, I think you're right, Noel. It's best to just wash your hands more frequently and avoid touching your face. So then that way you're constantly cleaning these germs off your hands versus wearing gloves and you're just spreading it all over the place.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I wear the gloves is because I touch my face a lot, and when I wear the gloves, it reminds me not to do it because I'm thinking like I don't even want to touch it, so I'm like always like if I got a niche or something, I just rub it on my shoulder, my face on the shoulder or something, but. Like I said, there's so much shit. Like I got to a point where like this is what I'm gonna do. Fuck it, we'll see what happens, and I just try to wash my hands as much as possible, and the social distancing, because there's gonna be people at work. Then I don't know how you feel. There's motherfuckers that are just gonna roll up right up to you, and see like, what's going on, man? Where you been? And like, yo, bro, back the fuck up, man. Like. There's people like, I'm going to warn you, and there's like two people that they're super fucking serious, and then there's people in the shop, they just roll, hey man, what's going on? Like I had a dude come up to me like 3 feet, and I keep stepping back, and he kept fucking like stepping forward, like, hey motherfucker, back the fuck up, man. He's like, bro, look at this video right here, look, and he's like jamming the phone, like, dude, I'm not touching that, back the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, just message it to me, I'll see it on my fucking phone. And there's a couple people like that.
They're close talkers.
Yeah, dude, I'm like, yo, man, back the fuck up, bro. Like, I can see the video from here. Nah, look, man. I'm like, fucking message me the video. I'm not gonna fucking touch your phone, dude.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because I was having some car problems, so Noel came over to my house early in the morning, and so he's over at the house, and it's kind of raining, so I'm like, hey, yo, you want to take a step inside so that you're not like outside in the rain and kind of get covered by the garage door. And I noticed, I don't know if you did it on purpose, Noel, but I noticed that you took like only like a half a step, and then I'm like talking, we're just talking, and then I kind of like mentally saw that you weren't that close into the garage, and I'm like, is Noel not stepping forward because I'm too close to him? So then that's when I took like 2 steps back, and I'm like, yeah, maybe he'll feel more comfortable walking forward now a little bit more, since I'm a little farther away in case he's worried about getting too close. I don't know if you did that mentally or not.
It wasn't consciously, no. Like that's just my natural way of being, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
I wasn't consciously thinking, let me stay this distance away.
Okay.
Because we both had masks on, so I wasn't worried. I'm like, neither of us are sick. I have nothing to be afraid of,
Right, right. I just don't know if it's becoming second nature for people to keep some kind of distance, but obviously from what Andy's saying, there's still some people that have no barriers, and they're close talkers, and they're going to get up close to you.
Yeah, I always have a barrier around me, man, like a nice little bubble where if anybody steps closer, I always step to maintain this just area, and it's subconscious. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta recognize a personal space, and especially during these times, and when you start seeing stuff on social media, like people freaking the fuck out when they go to the grocery stores, and people calling the cops when people show up to people's houses. Like, there's all sorts of shit floating out there. I mean, there's some people that I feel like are super like, okay, you're going a little bit too fucking far, but you got to understand, like, I mean, it's a personal choice if you do that or not. I mean, depending how you feel, but if you take some precautions, the social distancing and all that, I think you should be fine. Because, I mean, there's so much mixed information. I can't, that's how I fucking feel. I don't even know what to fucking believe. But yeah, it's going to be challenging after all this goes down. I think there's going to be a bunch of people just fucking going out there, and there's going to be people who are like, fuck this, I'm going to just barricade myself in the house even more. And, you're starting to see all this conflicting information about how to handle this going forward with, the herd immunity and all that other shit. But, I mean, people are still getting together. I mean, I sent, that group text that we're part of, not between us, but this other friends I got. There was house parties in Chicago, and people, there was no social distancing. They're just fucking bunch of dudes surrounded over a stripper and shit. It was like fucking getting crazy, like the good old days. And people are like fucking pissed. But I mean, they're young people. They have a better chance they're surviving, I guess, or I don't fucking know. But I mean, I don't know how you feel about that. To me, if I see people gathering, it used to bother me. But to now, I'm not gonna call nobody. I'm just gonna be like, fuck it. They're taking the risk, not me. I'm gonna do what I gotta do, but I'm not. I know some people are like, it irks. Like, they post pictures and I hope these people fucking die. All these stupid comments and shit, and I'm just like, what is wrong with you, man? It's like it's they're the ones that are doing it. It doesn't affect you, whatever. But
right, I think it's a little much to wish death upon them, but I do kind of land in the boat where they shouldn't be doing that. Unless it's recommended by the CDC, like they say, like, all right, now these things are acceptable. And the only reason I say that is because obviously they could take their own lives into their own hands. But the problem is that they're going to put a taxing weight into the hospital to the point where, what if I do get sick? By taking care of myself, I stay safe, I do everything that I'm supposed to do, but for whatever reason, boom, I got it. Now I go to the hospital, and I'm there with all these people that were at this house party, and they're taxing the nurses, the doctors, and now I can't get the service that you should be getting because all these dumbasses who made poor choices are now there taking up all the resources. That's where I get pissed off.
I think you're pissed off because you weren't invited, and I was. That's what I'm hearing. But in all seriousness, I mean, like I said, like, you break down the numbers and all this shit. I mean, they admitted they kind of flattened the curve, and we're still there. We just recently here in Illinois, we got extended another fucking month. and there were still people not following shit. So, I mean, that's my contention. Like, that's why early on I was like, yeah, we gotta do all this, but you know, more and more info gets released. It's just like this shit's never ending. Like, Lightfoot said that, or the mayor of Chicago, this might go all until like end of June. And like, this is fucking insane. But I get it. Chicago's a little bit more of a hotbed than the rest of the state. But I mean, I don't know. It's just like, how much more can people take of just fucking staying at home and like this blanket umbrella blanketing of solution of just like, let's just fucking do it for everyone when there's hot centers or hot pocket centers that are more prone or more activity than other parts of the state or a county.
There needs to be more tests available for people to take, and then we can start opening things up little by little. That's the way I'm looking at it, because I see two sides of this. I see the people getting angry at people trying to be social when there should be distant measures, taken into account. But I also see the side where people want to live their lives, and at what point do we sacrifice our freedom for other people who are afraid? Because if that's the case, then we're no longer free. We're slaves to people who choose that, oh, now it's a safe time for you to be out and about. Now it's not a safe time, so you have to be here, you have to be there. We're not free anymore then.
Right. I mean, but we never are really super free, because there's laws and there's police. There's things that you can't do. You can't just start driving 100 miles per hour down the street. So does that make it that I'm not free, that I can't go 100 miles per hour? So no, there's limitations to what you can do. So even though America has some of the most freedoms of other countries, there are limitations to what you can do. And I think that's where some people do get irked, like you're saying. It's like their freedoms are being taken away, but these are recommendations to hopefully get through this situation. And the only thing that you would hope is that the government and the people don't take advantage of this, and those freedoms that you're talking about that are taken away now, hopefully they will return to us one day. But what people are afraid of is that they're going to be gone forever, and you'll never get them back.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, the politicians, like, I'm just talking about Illinois in general. We have a shelter-in-place order. Pritzker said that, we got to flatten the curve. So when we kept getting closer to the end of the end of the order, and they did flatten the curve, and then they asked him, what does it need to do to get rid of it? Well, we got to see all this other stuff. And like, well, what do you need to see? I need to see like 2 weeks of this, and then that's when, like, I call it, the bullshit started happening. They did go down in deaths, and then like the next day he's like, well, we actually miscounted all that. There was more death than we reported because we miscounted all this shit. Like, what the fuck? There was like 3 days of this shit, and then they miscounted. Okay, and then they started pushing him. Well, can we see the models, or what are you predicting, or were you getting this info? Nah, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna show you who's showing me the models, which the models all across the board, nationally and locally, have been completely fucking wrong. They scared us into this shit, my opinion. And now they started asking Pritzker, well, can we see the model? And he's like, no, I'm not gonna show it to you. I'm going to tell you this, the model, they're predicting the next peak, or the peak that was supposed to happen in early April, according to him, didn't happen. Now they're predicting it in middle of May. But the peak that in this new model is less than what they said was going to happen in April. And then they asked him, well, what are the numbers that the model's predicting? At this time, I searched it. I didn't see, he just said it's going to be less than what they predicted in April. So right. If that, again, we're not getting all the information of what they want to see. So again, end of May, end of May or whatever, if they just keep coming out with the vague numbers, this many deaths and this many people are infected, Well, what's it gonna take, dude? I mean, there's a fatigue of this shit. That's why people are protesting in other states, and they're not really giving you. This is what needs to happen. It's just he's the executive, he's the governor, and I get that he has that power, but we're literally a month and couple weeks into this shit, and they're saying it's not enough, and then we need this many beds, we need this many ventilators. All this has been provided. And the numbers that they initially predicted, there's nowhere near what they said was gonna. They're nowhere near a quarter of what they used what they said of what they needed. We need this many beds. A quarter of it's being used. We need this many ventilators. I think a little bit over a quarter is being used, and they got more on the way. So that's my frustration.
Right, but I think that's kind of normal when you go to the grocery store and your wife is like, yeah, let's get some apples. And you're just like, yeah, do I just buy one or two, what we're probably going to eat? Or do I get this whole bag just to play it safe?
Well, not when you're fucking with people's lives, Dan.
Right. No, I get it. This is different from
when
buying
you say
apples.
2 million
I get
people
it.
are going to die and then less than like 50,000 or 20,000 die. Dude, that's a big fucking difference.
Right.
That ain't I don't even know math. I just know that's nowhere near close when you look at odds.
I get it, but your point was that his ventilator quantity that he wanted, I think he's playing it safe, and if he's estimating that 2 million people are going to need it, well then he's going to calculate for beds for 2 million people. But if only 20,000 end up using it, well then yeah, he overshot it, and he's asking for supplies that he really doesn't need. So, but his models that supposedly somebody was showing them were showing them that 2 million people or whatever. I'm not even sure if that number's right. We're just kind of throwing out numbers now. But I'm just saying that I think it's normal to want to overshoot. If I'm going to a White Sox game, I know I'm going to spend money to buy food, beer, whatever stuff out there. Do I take $40 because that's probably about how much I'm going to spend.
That's your decision, Dan. The governor's deciding for you.
Exactly, and I get that, Andy. I get that. What I'm just trying to tell you, it's normal for a person to overextend themselves or to want to overextend themselves. Do I just ask for that edge line of how much I'm going to need, or do I overshoot it just to play it safe? Do I take only the $40 that I might spend? Or do I take $100 just to cover myself, and I might not spend the whole thing, but I got the money there in case I need it?
Yes,
and I think that's
a decision you made. Someone else is making that decision. Someone you elected.
Right, correct. And that's his job. It's his job to make those decisions.
His job is to be is the first thing, yes, to protect. The second, to be honest.
Right.
And they're not fucking being honest because you look at the data, and it's like a fucking umbrella thing that he's doing. When 80% of all the cases in this state are in one county.
Right, and I'm not trying to defend Pritzker. I didn't even vote for him, but to me, I agree. I don't think he should blanket Illinois and make this ban through the whole thing. It is obvious that the majority of the cases are in Cook County. This needs to be more of a county-to-county situation where if, let's say, McCain and Cook and a few others are hotspots, those are the ones that should be extended to June. If, DuPage, this and that are not as hot, then they should have restrictions lifted, in May. And that's the way it should handle. As these pockets develop, tighter restrictions are taken, and as pockets lean up and numbers are dropping, then restrictions are lifted. It does fluctuate, but that's the way the governor should handle it. Instead of making it a statewide, everybody in Illinois is locked down until the end of May.
That's what I'm saying. They scared us into this, which is fine. I mean, I get it. I was on that, and then you kind of see the numbers right after the numbers they said. So you see, okay, somewhat. I'm not saying it's like it's being managed. I'll word it like that. So, and now they're starting to say other words like, oh, the second wave is going to be worse than this, and like all this other bullshit, and like, they're just scaring you more, and then they're like, no vaccine, no this, and like, there's no way to treat it, and then you dig even deeper, is just like, hospitals are being laid off, laying off and furloughing workers, and hospitals are empty, and like it's just like none of this. Hospitals are war zones and all this. Like they built that hospital down in McCormick, and I heard that they didn't even use, I think, less than 50 beds, and I forgot it's a large fucking field hospital.
Yeah, it was like 1,000 beds.
Yeah,
or something.
I'm like, this is like, okay, they prepared, they did it, but not. It's like it's been a month and a half, and okay, great, they didn't need to use it. So, what's the next game plan? Well, no, we don't know. The second wave is going to be worse, and that's my fucking frustration. After your models that they tout are completely fucking wrong.
Right.
That's all I'm fucking saying. Like, to me,
I-
you gotta. He needs to handle it better, and I get it. If he wants to, wasn't happy when the shit got extended, but you gotta fucking say this is what needs to happen, and that's not really being said. He's not really giving you numbers, and that's why I'm like, well, this shit could go on forever technically, and that's the
Right.
wording you're starting. That's what you're starting to read in the news, that this could go into next year, and I'm like, this is fucking insane, man. Like,
Well,
you know,
to me, I think it is going to go on to next year. This is a flu type virus. So when have you heard that there wasn't a flu vaccine? It's always there. They're always giving flu vaccines out because the flu never goes away. This is a flu-like
Yeah.
vaccine that's going to be here for the rest of our lives. And the only difference is when they do create a vaccine, the people that do elect to take this vaccine will have somewhat immunity to this, or at least that's the hope. So it is going to be here with us for the rest of our lives. This flu is never going away. This COVID is never going to go away. So I believe him. I believe him that it is going to go down, maybe because of the heat, because usually the heat does mitigate the flu, or at least the breakout of flu. And then as soon as the cold weather starts coming back, you start seeing spikes in the flu. So I believe that there is going to be a resurgent. Now, what can we do to prevent it? I don't know. But all I know is that it will come back. And maybe this is the time to plan for that next surge that's coming. Now, I'm not saying let's stay until lockdown until, June next year, to kind of, just keep everybody safe. I'm not saying that. But something's going to be coming on the next round.
There's always going to be the flu. Like, that's without a doubt. It's just the severity, like I'm talking about. The severity, obviously, I'm not saying it's fake. It's impacted people's lives. People are dying. But the initial info that came out, it was just fucking horseshit, dude. It's like, I don't want to say like a normal fucking flu, but we haven't seen what they said was going to happen. That's all I'm fucking saying. And yes, we have all these other fucking flus and like their severity of them. But even if they do come out with the vaccine, I don't think it might not work for everybody. I mean, I've read stuff that people who've gotten the virus, they just get tired. And that's people like in their 30s and 40s. And like it impacts older people more with, respiratory issues and other underlying. That is true, because that's, if you look at the numbers, that's who it's being impacted the most. But everybody else, I mean, yeah, they might have the chills and some other shit, and I'm not saying that they didn't have issues, but I mean, to me, it's fucking. They could use this shit to forever, man. And when we already had other flus, I mean, something similar to this, besides the Spanish flu, was a Hong Kong flu. I think it killed 100,000 people. But they didn't, from my understanding, they didn't have this like fucking state by state fucking lockdown and all this other shit. And like, I mean, and it's still around apparently, or I don't know. Nobody talks about it. I mean,
there's a lot going on that we don't know, man. That's the thing. We've gotten so accustomed for so long to be provided only the bare minimum of what the government thinks we should know.
Yeah.
And we've accepted that for so long that they finally released footage of UFOs and the proof that they exist. And people are like, oh, okay, no big deal.
Yeah, and nobody, everybody's like, oh, so they exist, and everybody's just like, fucking Trump's bad and fuck him. They just focus on some other shit. Yeah, I saw the videos, and that was another big topic. Some of the people I follow, but everybody's so hung up on the fucking virus. I mean, they admitted they got some aerial, what did they call it? Unidentified aerial phenomenon. I think this is the official thing that they called it. So it's a fucking UFO. And they're like, yeah, and nobody's talking about that. They like admitted it, and nobody's talking about that.
Yeah, Joe Rogan, he made a post. He's like, you know, shit's crazy when the Pentagon releases footage of UFOs and no one gives a fuck.
Some of the
did. Go ahead.
So some of the people I follow, because I do watch UFO, I follow UFO bloggers. They were hinting that something was gonna happen in April. I didn't, they weren't gonna, not the UFO like revelation or something, but they said something was gonna happen. And I think this video is what they kind of mentioned that was gonna happen, and nobody blinked an eye. And it's like an official video release from the government, United States, and nobody's like, just talking about shitting on Trump and stuff.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of when Obama, supposedly he was eavesdropping on people's conversations, and people were like, no, he's not doing that. And when he finally came out, like, yeah, I'm doing that. So what? And then nobody really cared. Nobody really cared about it. Nobody said anything. Nobody was in an uproar. And this, when I saw that UFO video, I think Noel's the one that sent it to our group text, and I was just like, wow. I'm like, this is nuts, man. And I'm like, how come people aren't talking about this? This is crazy.
Yeah, UFO disclosure happened, and no one gave a fuck. Just the UFO people are like, oh my god, they admitted it. And like when they admitted Area 51, they, the government, like, yeah, it exists. Nobody is just like, oh, they admitted it. Everybody's like, oh, okay, whatever.
Well, by UFO, it doesn't mean that it's an alien. It could be space tech or some kind of aircraft technology that other countries have. So it doesn't necessarily mean an alien.
That's what I'm saying. They released the way they worded it, so we know it's not theirs. If they release it, they're admitting it's not U.S. technology. And I think if they thought it was another country, they would have said something. It would have been, they would not have said anything. So I think, I had to come from somewhere else. Or
the way they worded it was very careful, because they said the reason they released it was because it doesn't affect any kind of military program or mission that they're on. It doesn't affect any kind of like information that they have to keep secret. So this is, to me, proof that there are aliens, not that it would be some other country's shit, because then they wouldn't show that to us. You know what I mean? Why would they reveal the secrets and stuff like that? To them, it's like, well, this is not going to affect any of our missions or anything like that. So it could very well, to me, be proof of extraterrestrials that they're trying to slowly let people know about. And I think there's a lot more to it, man. I think there's a lot of shit going on behind the scenes with this whole COVID stuff. I knew it from the beginning. Like, I had this feeling like it's a smokescreen, this COVID thing, and we'll see what's revealed when the smoke dissipates.
Yeah, but isn't that video old too? Wasn't it like a 2007 video or something like that? It wasn't something recent, right?
No, it was like over a decade ago, I think.
Yeah, it was. It sounds over a decade. I'd say like 2000s, but you think about it, we're in 2020. Like, fuck, yeah, that is old. But but maybe they're here to bring you the vaccine, Dan. There you go, man. If the aliens came and go, we got the vaccine for this shit, you gonna take it, man?
Yeah, what if it's that you got to do something to the alien? Are you gonna get that vaccine, Andy?
Man, that's why they want to come here and butt fuck you or something like they're doing in the past.
They're like, this is the cure.
Bill Gates wants to give you nanomachines, bro.
You think Gates has the vaccine already? They just have it waiting to be cranked out?
I don't know if you guys heard, there was a video thing that somebody recorded, because it was a hot mic in one of the presidential briefings, where the guys that were like fixing the chairs and fixing the shit before the president and all them come out, the one guy was just like, hey, you don't have to worry about a mask. He's like, they just gave everybody the vaccine. And he's just like, oh, you got your vaccine already? And he's just like, yeah, something like that. And you don't have to worry about it. Everybody in here has got the vaccine.
Yeah, and they started breaking down numbers. And then the guy goes, oh, so it's a hoax? He goes, yeah, something like don't take me word. It's something like, yeah, pretty much it's a hoax.
Right.
Because, like I always said, if you look at like those doctors that YouTube just pulled the video on, I mean, they were breaking down simple. It was simple math. I'm not, they didn't fucking have this spreadsheet and like, but if you look at it, it's like less than 1%, overall this, and that's in California. I mean, that's why you gotta look at it. You gotta look at. I mean, I'm not no mathematician, but if you do basic
That's for
math, you
sure.
kind of. That's why I always asked you, Danny, but you're wrong all the time too. So I gotta ask Google, but I don't trust Google no more. But yeah, I mean, it's just basic fucking math. It's like less than 1%, and I'm just like, what the fuck is going? That's why I get like this shit. None of this makes shit. None of this stuff makes sense.
I did read something as well that um, people are inflating the COVID deaths by adding flu deaths and adding deaths from
Yeah.
people that were going to die anyways from some other ailment, but they ended up getting exposed to COVID, and it just kind of like put them over the edge. So that they're adding deaths like that to try to kind of inflate the numbers because they're missing this mark. Now, a lot of that's like conspiracy. I don't know how true it is, but it does make you wonder what the hell is true, like you said.
Allegedly, I saw somebody did say that they are inflating the numbers. I forgot what paper. Someone linked it on Facebook. They admitted the Bricks is her name, the lady with the scarf. She kind of did some interview and said allegedly. I've never seen the video, but I've seen screenshots of it on Facebook, and it was never really taken down. And they kind of admitted that the numbers were inflated. That the test that they're giving you does come out as you have a coronavirus, but it's all coronavirus. It's like a flu, or something, some type of classification. So you might have a flu, but it's not the coronavirus, the Wuhan flu or whatever.
Yeah, that
It's like the other one.
Corona-19.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're just like lump it in there so we can't look like idiots because we spent all this money and shut down the fucking country. And so I did read something like that. I'm not afraid if we talk about it too much, fucking, we might get shut down. Because Facebook and like fucking YouTube, they're going bananas taking down people's posting or
yeah, I did read about that. Yeah,
bullshit. Like I've seen it.
Anything against the CDC, they shut it down.
And they admitted the World Health Organization, they fucking lied. I mean, they're under China gives them big money or something, but the early shit that spit it out was total bullshit, and they got called out on it. And now we're like, that's the only authoritative source, the World Health Organization.
Right.
And there's other countries fucking shitting on them now, so it'd be interesting to see what happens.
Now, I do agree that the World Health Organization, they screwed up. They did screw up. But let me ask you this, Andy. If, like the weatherman, if they think a tornado is going to be coming by the area, would you rather not get any forewarning and let it happen if it's going to happen, or let it not happen if it's not, if nothing happens? Or get the forewarning and you prepare for this tornado that's coming and nothing ends up happening.
Well,
and you do all this preparation for nothing.
That's a good analogy there, Dan. So imagine the World Health Organization said, there's a tornado coming that way, but if I were you, I wouldn't worry. It's not going to head your way. So, okay. Then the fucking tornado comes and it fucking goes right over your house. That's exactly. It's not going to be, what World Health Organization said. It's not going to be transmitted person to person. So the tornado's headed your way, but I wouldn't worry about it. Oh, okay. That's their one job, to warn people, and they said don't worry about it, so you didn't worry about it, and then you lose your house or you get sick.
Right, exactly. So I think nowadays it's more in line to overanalyze and oversay it. Yes, you're going to get 12 inches of snow tomorrow. The forecast shows this. And then when you wake up, only 4 inches snowed, and it's not as bad. It's not this big snow apocalypse.
To the track record of the weathermen you follow, and the World Health Organization in the last couple of years does not have a good fucking track record.
Right, exactly.
So, like, I might look at this weather channel, this chick, man, she's fucking hot, and I'm gonna watch her news, or watch her weather, but she could be completely fucking wrong. But I'm gonna watch it. It'll be my dumb ass for fucking listening to her don't worry, we're not gonna snow. And then you wake up, there's a fucking foot of snow, and be like, fuck. Man, I should have listened to old fucking Tom Skilling at Channel 9 with his ugly big ass. And he is always on point, but he's not as hot as the chick on Channel 7.
I don't even think Tom Skillet's even in the news anymore, is he?
Yeah, he had surgery. Dude, he packed on a lot of weight. He had the gastric bypass, and I think he just came back. And Tom's Skilling, I mean, he's been around a long time here in Chicago, but he was pretty accurate.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he's been in Chicago weather for a long ass time.
He's a fucking legend, man.
I haven't seen him on TV in a long ass time, so I'm not sure if he was still on TV or not.
Yeah, I follow a local media blog that keeps up to date on Chicago media, and he posted that he just had surgery because he was worried. He had concerns about his weight gain, so he had surgery, the gastric bypass, and I think he was supposed to come back this month or May. So he might be back already. I don't know, but yeah, he's a fucking legend here in Chicago. I mean,
yeah,
he's one of the few people I trust.
The last time I saw him was like with Kazoo and Bozo Show. That was like the last time I seen him on TV, man.
You need to get cable again, Dan. Well, he's over the air, man. He's over the air.
Nah, I'm a Fox, Chicago Fox 32 News weather guy. I like watching that guy. I don't remember his name, but he's always funny and cracking jokes. So I like watching him.
But is he accurate then?
Well, I mean, he's accurate enough. What I see nowadays with the weather guys is they give like 3 different forecasts. They're like, yeah, if we go by the GP model, we're going to get 10 inches of snow. But if we go by the European model, it's only going to be a light dusting. So depending on which one's right, it's going to be either this one or this one.
I'm going to tweet him. Why the fuck are you using a European model? We're in America, man. Fucking use the American one. Well, the American one says we're gonna get like 20 feet of snow. Fuck. And the next day it's like an inch. Man, you better fix that fucking thing.
Right.
That European one's wrong. I don't give a fuck. I want the American one. But
yeah.
No, yeah, I mean it's like you said, you gotta look at people's track records. Same thing with the newspaper and so forth. I mean, whoever you read, you know who's good and who's accurate and like who's fake news and all that other shit. But speaking of fake news, we got to close this out because we're 100% real here. We want to thank y'all for listening. Remember, you can follow Freeform Network on Facebook and Twitter at Freeform Network. You can hit me up there, send me messages. All you weather ladies too. I could give you personal tips. And you can send questions and suggestions to ffnquestions@gmail.com. Check out our webpage, freeformnetwork.podbean.com. There, we're on Stitcher, iTunes, Podbean, YouTube, Spotify, Google something plus music. I don't fucking know. We're on all that Google shit. And you hit that, you subscribe. You do us a big favor. You subscribe. You make a comment or give us a like. That helps us out. I've been told. I don't know how, but it helps us out. But we got Freeform Radio here. We got Danny.
Yes, sir. Stay safe, everybody. Hopefully, by the next recording, things are getting back to normal, and we can talk about the regular dumb shit that we're up to.
Dumb shit, man. Hey, Noel, what do you got, man?
Thanks for listening, everybody. Stay safe, be strong, and we'll catch you on the next one.
And it's all good, Andy. Don't believe what Big Brother tells you or what they say, because obviously every year it gets more full of shit. But we ain't full of shit, so we'll see you guys next time, and hit us up, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
That was cool, Dad.